We are live. Welcome into Around the Felt, our Week 10 recap. And for the first time ever, Around the Felt is actually live now on YouTube and X. So if you're listening now and it's not live, just know that this is how the boys are rolling now. And you can hop in live and ask questions and interact with us. And we'd love to banter back and forth.
I just found out it's just YouTube. We need an X premium account, so just YouTube, but that's okay.
All right, just YouTube. We thought it was both, but X premium. Maybe that's in the future cards. We'll see how this does. But again, Week 10 recaps. A lot of news today, particularly with my New York Giants. But before we get into all that, Reagan, how we doing tonight? It's good to be back.
Oh, I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. I'm excited, to see what will transpire. We're 10 weeks into the NFL season, and playoff season is upon us. Or not yet, but it's going to be upon us soon. So now's the time where you got to make some big moves with your fantasy deadlines approaching.
Yes, Week 11. I know that's the deadline in all 5 of my leagues. Speaking of your leagues, Reagan, what are your records thus far now that we're through 10 weeks? How are your fantasy teams looking?
I got one that's 10-0. Then I got another one that's 8-2. 6-4, 6-4.
Did you freeze on me? I think you froze on me, but I mean, those are some pretty good records for you, Reagan. I'm currently sitting at 8-2, 7-3, 6-4, 6-4, and 6-4. So I got all winning records in all 5 of my leagues. Looking for the playoffs. So sounds like you're in a similar boat there, my friend.
Yeah. And I know we have a big matchup in our Dynasty League coming up, so that should be funny as hell.
We do. Yeah, we do next week. So, we'll get into that more so in the Wednesday pod. But let's start off with the news here, man, before we get into the picks and how we all did this week. And obviously the big news is the Giants have finally decided to fire Brian Daboll today after another fourth quarter blown loss to the Chicago Bears, and one in which Jackson Dart exited with a concussion. Jordan Renan, the Giants ESPN reporter, literally reported on Saturday he feels like he's safe through the end of the season unless something would happen to Jackson Dart. Not only Jackson Dart get hurt, but as soon as he left the game, the Giants blew the game. And I think this is absolutely the right move. You had to get rid of Brian Daboll. Look, despite the fact that he's worked really well with Jackson Dart, and Jackson Dart looks like a very promising franchise quarterback, and he handpicked him, and he wanted to start him. I get all of that, but as the head coach, you are the CEO of the team. It can't just be the quarterback. There was too much malpractice at the end of games. He did not, coaching, scared. He kicked from the 1-yard line of field goal to go up by 10 in the fourth quarter. That was weak in my mind. Crazy that's how it ends for him, but just given the wins and losses, 2-8 this year. You started 2-7 last year, 2-7 the year before. Had to be done. Brian Daboll's gone. The only thing is they decide to keep Joe Schoen to lead the search for the next head coach. Reagan, your thoughts on Brian Daboll being gone and then Joe Schoen staying in place for now?
I'm fine with him staying, as the quote-unquote GM for now. I think ultimately they should fire his ass too. I think it's a mistake that bad franchises continue to do over and over again, is not having the head coach and GM on the same timeline, because if you don't have them on the same timeline, it doesn't make sense. And by that, I mean, you look at these teams where they bring in a head coach and then they have, a GM that's been there. And then sure enough, after a year, they get rid of the GM and then it's a whole new GM that comes in and he's like, this is not my head coach. Like, this isn't my guy. So you're never really hooking them up on the same timeline where you have 2 guys in full agreement that come in at the same times. I know the Jets recently just did that, so I'm super happy about that. And I know some other, bad franchises have failed to do that before. But I think if the Giants want to ultimately, capitalize on it and really build around Dart, they will hire a head coach and they will hire a GM at the same time and pair them together, similar to what they did with Daboll and Schoen, which I believe they were hired at the same time. I just don't think it makes sense to have Schoen go out and hire his head coach, and then if, next year nothing improves, to then fire him, to then bring in a new GM who will be like, well, this head coach is not my guy, so I want him out of here. So I don't think you're setting up Dart for success. So clean house, start fresh with a new regime, build around Dart.
Yeah, I definitely get that sentiment. I personally believe in Joe Schoen. I think definitely made some mistakes earlier on in his tenure by letting a lot of guys walk after they made a lot of win now moves after making the playoffs initially when they had no business in the playoffs and winning a playoff game. But the reason I think he ultimately kept his job, and as John Mara said, they think they have a good young nucleus of talent, is the last 2 drafts look really freaking good. Jackson Dart's the leader for Offensive Rookie of the Year. And the big pushback from that is, did you see the way Joe Schoen, the video came out? Like, let's roll the fucking dice. Like, this was Daboll's guy. Daboll wanted him at 3. It almost seems like Joe Schoen played it so that if Dart was a bust, he could blame it as Daboll's guy, but then he can get all the credit for moving back into round 1, which getting Dart at 25, absolute steal. He played the board perfect, but did he even want him? Because reports are he was like his 5th option at quarterback, including free agents and the draft. So I don't know. It's tough for him to get credit for that, but the last 2 drafts, I think, saved him with how it's looking with the neighbors class. And then this year with how good Scatterbo looked late, Marcus Bo late. I mean, of course, when you're picking top 5, you should hit on Abdul Carter, right? You should hit on neighbors at 6. But, that's also the argument against Shane is, all right, you picked a lot of really good first rounders, but you lost a lot of games. Those are the
guys you're supposed to hit on.
Yeah. And then people were like, well, you whiffed on Evan Neal. You whiffed on Deonte Banks. Jalen Hyatt, you traded up for him, and he's not even playable. Like, you're playing practice squad guys over him. So definitely a lot of pros and cons with Shane, but it's interesting to see what happens here. And I'm just really upset that Shane Bowen's not gone. I understand keeping him in place because Kafka is going to have to deal with a lot of moving parts now as the interim head coach. But the defense is really the problem because the offense has actually been as good as it's been in years for the Giants this season.
Yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see how your Giants fare.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just happy he's gone, but I'm not happy that Jackson Dart has a concussion, and I'll be at the game on Sunday for the biggest tailgate we're having all year, and now it's Daboll's gone, Mike Kafka, and we might have to watch Russell Wilson throw the ball around, but, because I doubt Jackson Dart clears protocol in time for Sunday. Give me Jameis Winston. I mean, the way Russell Wilson looked the end of that game against Chicago.
Yeah, plus you've seen him this year.
He can't even cook ramen noodles anymore. He's so goddamn bad. I would love to see Jameis Winston slang that thing around the yard. They're probably not going to beat Green Bay regardless. But
no, you never know. But yeah, I would like to see Jameis too. That'd be fun. That'd be very fun.
In other quarterback news, Joe Burrow designated to return, opened his 21-day window ahead of schedule, and he's saying Thanksgiving is his target. He'll be back, which, I mean, come on, that's awesome. That really juices up the Thanksgiving football slate for us, getting Joe Burrow back in action. I'm just curious here, Reagan. Is it too little too late? I know the AFC North there's no team running away with it. Pittsburgh's slumping. Baltimore's won 3 in a row, but they dug themselves such a hole. Is it too little too late for Joe Burrow and the Bengals?
No. It's definitely not too little too late. I mean, they're only 2 games back of the division, so it obviously would help to get him back. He's a huge upgrade over Joe Flacco. The thing is, though, even if Joe Flacco put up 40-something on the Bears and they still lost. So it's not like Joe Burrow plays defense. Like, sure, yeah, maybe he'll be better at managing the game and stuff and almost playing defense on the offensive side of the ball, but, like, it won't matter if they can't get the stops. So ultimately, yeah, it's an uphill battle. Like, I find it hard to believe that they're going to be able to catch both Baltimore and Pittsburgh, or at least Baltimore. I mean, the good thing is they still play Baltimore twice and Pittsburgh once. So, you get them back soon, or at least in time for those 2 Baltimore games. There's always a chance. I mean, if you can go 1-1 in those or 2-0 in those, you never know. I mean, 4 division games left. I think they could beat Pittsburgh this week. Obviously, they already have beat Pittsburgh, which helps them, and that was with Joe Flacco. So we know even if Burrow's not good to go, they're going to be in that game. And the defense honestly played decent-ish in that game. Ish. I mean, Rodgers still had 4 touchdowns in that game, but the Bengals were kind of in control, playing prevent defense. So I'm going to lean on the side of no, they won't make it, but definitely makes it more interesting.
Garrett Wilson just came out. He's going to miss 3 to 4 weeks total with that knee sprain. So no Garrett Wilson this upcoming weekend. I know the Jets just got their 2nd win of the season against Cleveland. You're in the camp of tanking here, though, Reagan. What are your thoughts on Garrett Wilson? Obviously, no need to rush him back with a knee sprain. That seems pretty idiotic, but wouldn't be out of the realm of possibilities for the Jets.
Yeah, no, obviously there's 0 reason to rush him back I wouldn't be shocked if he's done for the season at this point. I mean, I know there's still 7 games left and they're saying 3 to 4 weeks, but I would be cool if they sat him out for the year. I mean, Justin Fields isn't the long-term answer at this point, at least, going out and trading for Mitchell and Mechie, like it gives those guys a chance to shine more. The rookie out of Georgia, Adrian Smith, you took in the 3rd round, gives him a chance to shine more. And I mean, really, man, it's for Breece Hall. It's like, hey, if you truly didn't want to trade him because you have plans of re-signing him, I mean, give him some more run. Or if you're thinking about letting him go, like, let Isaiah Davis get some more run. Braylon Allen will be back at some point this season, so it's a good chance to see some of these young guys that you're not sure on and really give them some run. So I kind of hope they keep him out for the year if he's not even close to, even if he's like 90%, I don't care, unless he's 100%. But, I mean, he's your prized guy.
I agree, 100%. In other unfortunate injury news, it's already been confirmed that Jayden Daniels, obviously with the dislocated elbow, but also Terry McLaurin with the quad, are going to be out this upcoming Sunday against Miami for the Commanders. I mean, just a season from hell for Washington after that NFC Championship berth. And now just the injuries to Daniels and, your wide receiver core. Wheels are falling off, man. It sucks. They're both going to miss next week against Miami, a very winnable game. But with the way Miami just looked against Buffalo, I don't know how you're going to pick that one with Marcus Mariota at the helm. But it seems like this season is a complete wash for the Commanders.
Yeah, and there's no reason they really should bring him back at this point. I mean, why? Like, the defense is trash. They're not going to be in playoff contention. I mean, you see right now, I believe the Commanders have 3 wins right now, and the Bears are the 7 seed currently with 6 wins. So, like,
yeah, they're done.
Do you really think Marcus Mariota is going to get you to that point? And then it's like, if he somehow does, and I understand it's Jayden Daniels, but like, how would you take the rock back from him at that point if Mariota goes on a run? Because that would mean he was playing out of this world to get you into the playoffs. So I don't think there's any world that you actually do bring him back, because the 99% chances that they suck and don't make it. But even in that 1% that Mariota balls out and somehow gets you into the playoffs, it's like, you're not going to take him out then if he's balling out.
Yes, you are. Jayden Daniels got the NFC Championship game. Yes,
no, I know.
Are.
But that's what I'm saying. You realize how good he would have to play to actually get them into the playoffs?
They'd have to win out, and he'd have to be like,
bro.
comeback player of the year.
That's my point. It's so unlikely anyway, and this isn't a scenario. But if they won out, that would mean Marcus Mariota was playing out of this world for the last 7 games of the season to get you in. If he went on a 7-game win streak and you get in the playoffs, they're not taking the ball from him.
Yeah,
it's not.
That'd be cool.
You know what I mean, though? Like, they wouldn't do that, but like that's not going to happen.
No, it ain't going to happen.
It doesn't matter.
I really like the there's Giants fans and Commanders fans on Twitter have like become best buddies. They're like, we had a fun run, guys, and now like all the fans are just like together again. So it's kind of funny. And you mentioned how bad that defense has been. Dan Quinn just took over play calling duties for that defense because the defensive coordinator has just not done a good job. I get it. There's not a ton of talent on that side, and a lot of their talent is aging. But, yeah, I mean, they got a lot of holes to fill on that defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, last piece of news. This came out very, very quietly, just out of nowhere. But Kyler Murray's future in Arizona is certainly up in the air. And if there's a report coming out that they're going to have talks about a potential separation, that means it's got to be legit at this time of the season. And it's just ironic with the timing last week where it was Kyler's our guy, no matter what. And then it was, oh, wait, actually he's going on the IR when they thought he could have played. So that might be a decision between Kyler Murray and the team, with the wheels also falling off in Arizona this season. But I get it. Coach and GM did not draft or sign Kyler Murray. That contract's disgusting. I don't know how they're going to get out of it. They're probably going to eat a ton of dead cap and move on. Are there any potential spots that make sense for you for Kyler Murray next year, under the assumption that a lot of these quarterbacks are going to go back to college, like Dante Moore, potentially Ty Simpson, obviously Arch Manning, John Mateer? It might just be Fernando Mendoza and a bunch of day 2, day 3 guys. So there might be some openings for a starting spot.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a bunch of openings. Do they make sense? Do you want that? Probably not. I mean, my Jets are a team that, pop up.
It don't make sense with
but
those draft picks.
It doesn't make sense. It's not worth it. I wouldn't want it.
New Orleans doesn't make sense either.
the Raiders are
That's the one.
interesting,
Yeah.
just because you got to think Geno's done, and you got to think Pete Carroll's going to want to make a move because he's on the short-term deal. Outside of the Raiders, really, I mean, maybe. I mean, if Carolina, if it really goes downhill and they're giving up on Bryce Young, I mean, I've seen some people on Panthers, that are really worried about him still. I mean, he wins games, but it's not pretty. So, that definitely could be a team that you're seeing they're capable of winning games, but maybe they want to go get someone that they view as better than Bryce that can take them to the next level offensively. Yeah, I mean, I doubt Atlanta's ready to give up on Penix yet, with what they invested.
I don't see Miami, even if they move off Tua, I don't think they'd want to draft a guy. That doesn't make sense to get
maybe Jacksonville. Guy. Imagine Jacksonville and the Cardinals come together and they're like, hey, let's swap former first rounders.
I mean, when was the last time we've seen a deal like that? Jared Goff, Matthew Stafford. Before that, Jay Cutler, Kyle Orton, right? It's very rare, but it ends up working out for one team usually, at least.
Yeah, or in the rare case, both. So you never know.
All right, man.
Interesting hypothetical.
That's all we got from news today. What do we got for questions? And if anyone's in the live, drop a question.
Yeah. So first up, we're going to go to Mr. Mike Greta. He wants to know first, right out of the gate, would I be a fool for starting Travion next week?
How could you be a fool? I've been waiting for that breakout all year. Fire me up, Travion. I started him in both leagues. I had him. I was like, this has got to be the week, at least from a receiving perspective, because that Tampa Bay run defense is very good. But no, it just took Henderson getting a couple little gaps, little slivers, and that guy is gone. I am so thrilled for Travion Henderson. Fire me up, getting good and ready for your playoff run. Potential league winner if he doesn't give this job back to Ramondre Stevenson, the way this Patriots offense and team looks.
Yeah, plus, I mean, let's be real here. Do we really think that at this point he's not going to be more involved? And on top of that, like Ramondre was out with the toe injury. They play Thursday night against the Jets. So even if you don't fully think he's got the job, like even if Ramondre plays, like he'll probably be limited. So I think there's a good chance he misses again. They're 8-2. They have a lot of money tied up with Ramondre. So the fact that the record's good and the money's there, they're going to be very cautious with him. So I think at least this week alone, you're going to get another week of a lot of work. And I know Terrell Jennings also got banged up in that game. Not that really matters, but there's going to be even more guys that haven't been around in the locker room a ton. Now that your first, third, and fourth running back are now injured, so it's going to be most likely Henderson with a fifth and a sixth, guys getting elevated from the practice squad. Like you would hope, but who knows with Vrabel, that at this point they're going to go with a guy that has been there all off season, and give him the opportunities, especially after last week. How could you not?
And Reagan. Have you ever seen a running back be that far ahead of everybody that he could look to the sideline and be like, should I score or should I go down? That's how fast this motherfucker is. Give him the ball more. Give him the ball more. There's going to be plays where he gets stuffed to the line of scrimmage. Fine. He's got to get rid of the zero and negatives for sure and learn how to get what's there, take what the defense is giving you, and sometimes 3 or 4 yards is good. But that home run ability, you don't have that anywhere else at the position right now.
Well, and the good thing is, too, and I'm excited. I mean, I got him in a couple leagues, so I'm super excited about, what he can become down the stretch.
Yeah, I mean, he's got all the talent. Just give him the rock.
Yeah, 100%. All right, his next question, can Tyler Shough be elite?
No.
Although, wait, hold on. I didn't finish. Can Tyler Shough be elite? Although they only scored 17 points, I thought he was efficient. Thoughts? I'll let you go first because you were saying no right out of the gates.
I mean, he was efficient. He was efficient. He made some throws against a Carolina defense that's much improved. He took care of the football. I thought that was big. That deep ball to Olave really sticks out to me. I mean, he made some plays. He looked good, but, he's going to have to do it for many, many more games to even get a realistic shot to be the 26th starter, in my opinion, because with the way the Saints are looking, I think they're the prime destination for Fernando Mendoza. But we'll see, man. I don't know. I don't think elite's ever going to be in the cards for him. I think just him sticking as a starter would be a success.
Yeah, I don't. It's hard to say that. What would excite me with him is through 2 games now he has looked competent. And what I'll also say with him is the fact that he was drafted by Kellen Moore. So it's not like a new coach is going to come in. Kellen Moore is keeping the job. So I think he's going to get a full run. And if he can continue to play like this, I think it's his job to keep. And they may opt to trade the pick away, especially if it turns out that really it's a one quarterback and that's it. And some of these other teams may get desperate and try to trade up. So I definitely don't think it's a surefire Saints are drafting a quarterback because of the fact that they spent such a high draft pick on him. I mean, it definitely gives me a little pause that it took him this long to take the job, but it's pretty evident that out of the gates, he's already looked way better than Rattler has at all this season.
I'd agree with that.
So, but let's move on. He kind of wants to know what your thoughts were on, the Giants firing Daboll. I know we already kind of talked about this, but
Yeah, I mean, it had to be done, man. It just had to be done. At the end of the day, it's about wins and losses. It's not about one position in the quarterback. So I think the Giants immediately become, I mean, obviously Tennessee's the only other opening right now. I don't see another opening becoming available that's more attractive than what the Giants have. I mean, you mentioned it, Reagan. The only thing that might cause candidates to be hesitant is the fact that Joe Schoen is still there, right?
Yeah.
Other than that, you have a franchise quarterback, what he looks like, potential offensive rookie of the year, the heavy favorite, for 4 more years on a rookie deal. You have a star young receiver. You have a star left tackle. You have the pass rushers. You have a lot of the premium positions checked with young elite talent. So it's about building out the rest of the roster and coaching these guys to become winners. And it's not going to be a feeling where in the second half, oh no, how are we going to blow this? Because bad teams find ways to lose games. They need a CEO in there, but it's immediately the most attractive destination that I think is going to be open in this offseason.
Yeah. No, yeah.
And it's New York. And it's New York. That still is a thing. It is New York.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. Caleb, which team has been the most wait. Can I read?
I don't know.
Which team had to most what team had Okay. He wants to know in week 10 which team had the most impactful loss. I mean, right out of the gates for me, it's Carolina. I mean, you were 5-4 coming into this game, giving the fan base its most hope since Cam Newton, been underdogs in every single game this year. Finally, you're a favorite at home. I know it's a division rival, but you're going against a one-win team. You're going against a one-win team at home, and then the Tampa Bay Bucks lose. So it's like, damn, if you get a win here, you're really closing in that gap on the division, and you put up 7 points at home against one of the worst teams, if not the worst team in the league. Oh, that is a very bad loss. Schedule's going to get a lot tougher for Carolina down the stretch, and this is one you had to have so that you could potentially win the division or potentially get a wild card. Because right now the Bears are the 7th seed at 6-3. You win that game, you're 6-4, half game out of the final wild card spot. Also, half game out of the division with 2 games against Tampa Bay too. So one you had to have and did not get.
That's a really good choice. I'm going to go with the Jacksonville Jaguars. You had a chance to be 6-3 and right in the thick of things for the AFC wild card. Obviously, keeping up with Indianapolis, who got another win, right? But to allow your division rival, the Houston Texans, to score 26 unanswered in the 4th and blow that game, we've seen shit like this happen and the season just spirals. This could be a moment where the Jags season absolutely spirals with the injuries they're dealing with, because that's one against your divisional rival you cannot lose. You cannot lose that game up 29-10 going in the 4th. That is just pathetic and just coaching malpractice. I don't even know how that happened. Well, I say that. My Giants allowed 33 to Denver in the 4th, so I know how it happens. But it's just inexcusable.
T-Law, dude. T-Law is just terrible, bro. I don't know. I don't even like. And the thing that pisses me off is I was so negative on the Texans and so down on them, and they really didn't play this game well at all. They played
Davis
terrible.
Mills from the ashes just rises and fucking stages that. Oh
it also is funny too, with Davis Mills, it's pretty rare for a team to draft a guy to then start him for multiple years and then for him to lose his job and stick around. How many, if you think about it, how many quarterbacks in this league have you seen that happen where they were drafted, had their opportunity to start, and then hung around the roster as the backup for multiple years?
Oh, wow.
Weird.
I don't even know
Weird.
if I can think of one, like a guy that
I
comes to
can't.
mind that wasn't drafted there, but like had a chance to starter and stayed is like Stidham in Denver. Like he had a stretch where he could have been a starter, but obviously wasn't drafted by them. He was drafted by New England. Dude, I don't know. That's a really, really good question. I can't think of one.
Yeah. No, it definitely makes you think though, right? I mean, definitely makes you think.
Wow. Yeah, that's really good, man. That's really good. Because you're not even like first round quarterbacks never happens. Mills wasn't a first round quarterback,
No, third
right? But
rounder.
what other guys drafted on day 2 were given an opportunity from the get go to be a starter?
Yeah.
And, I can't think of anybody. That's crazy.
No. All right. His next question is Keenan Allen still relevant in fantasy? Oh, yeah. I mean, he's still relevant, but you have to just start tempering your expectations because you see, Trey Harris is starting to get more and more involved. They obviously spent, the second round pick on him. Obviously, Ladd and Quentin Johnston, younger guys, high capital picks, like they're gonna get theirs. So, and then how do you say Gaston?
Aronde Gadsden.
Aronde Gaston. Oh, Mike Greta with a comment.
Birds
He said
by 20 tonight.
birds by 20. Lock it in. Hell yeah, Mike. Hell yeah. I don't know. I feel like the Packers may win tonight. For those of you, tuning in right now, we are recording on a Monday night before the game, so we're not going to talk about that game. I lean the Packers just because of the fact that they play to their competition. They play down and they play up, and I think they're so due for a statement win, where they've been letting a lot of these bad teams hang around. Or I'll be completely wrong, and I'm like, hey, I've been a guy who gives Philly their flowers all the time. Like, why would I ever doubt them? They were in the Super Bowl for a reason. So, maybe Philly really got those early hiccups out of the way, and it's just going to be domination from, the Super Bowl champs of last year.
Yeah, I mean, I also got Green Bay. I just think like being at home night game in Lambeau Field is just a different level of football atmosphere. But it wouldn't shock me if the Eagles won by 14 tonight. Like it really wouldn't. No Tucker Kraft. I'm really curious to see how this offense changes for Green Bay. And if Jacobs can't get the ball rolling on the ground, then Jalen Carter and those boys are stopping the run. It could be a long night for Jordan Love, but I don't know. I think Romeo Doubs might go for a honey and a touchdown tonight.
Hey, we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, Colin, so back to what he was saying, though, with Keenan Allen. I mean, how do you kind of view him for fantasy?
You know what? I actually saw this stat. Herbert's time to throw yesterday was the quickest of his entire career, and that's definitely because he has no Joe Alt and Rashawn Slater, which helps Ladd McConkey working from the slot underneath. I do think Keenan Allen is kind of more in that boat compared to Quentin Johnston, who's more of a downfield threat. So I definitely think it's a boost for McConkey, the way they're going to have to change their offense, at least until Hampton gets back and they can kind of start running the football and teams got to gain their respect there. But, I mean, I'm definitely concerned about Keenan Allen. I have Keenan Allen and Quentin Johnston in one league, and I never know which one to start week in and week out. But both really haven't been awesome as of late. So, yeah, I mean, if you got to play him at flex, you got to play him, but it's not something I'm confident in.
Yeah. All right. So, in his final question, do you consider the Broncos, especially their offense, fraudulent? So, I'll start us out just because I'm the big Bronco guy here. They were my Super Bowl champ pick from, day one before the season even started. Their defense is so freaking elite. It's not even funny how good their defense is. They've obviously dealt with some injuries. I know Alex Singleton came out. He has some sort of cancer, but they caught it early. But it sounds like he may miss a little time, which will be a massive blow, to miss him because he looks great coming off of his ACL tear, I believe it was. But regardless, getting Greenlaw back, Hufanga, I mean, signing those guys has been huge. They're obviously missing Surtain right now, but that's not the issue. It's the offense. Yeah, of course, they do seem fraudulent when you're at home, against the Raiders on Thursday Night Football. And the Raiders are regarded as probably one of the worst teams in the league right now, and you're only able to hang up 10 points. But they play to their competition level. I mean, they've been in every game. I mean, they beat the freaking Super Bowl champs. So they're another case of like they play to their level of comp. And they lost to the Colts on kind of a fraudulent play where they're like leveraging where it went from a 60-yarder that was missed to a 45-yarder that was made. But they also beat the Giants in a game that they really shouldn't have won. So I'm not going to sit here and say they should be 9-1 because there's some games they won that they shouldn't have. They've played a lot of close games. I mean, Jets in London almost lost, but I'm not worried about them. I think Sean Payton's a great offensive mind. I still believe in Bo Nix. I think there's better days ahead. And hey, you're 8-2, sitting at the top of the AFC West, so they must be doing something right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they're fraudulent. The defense is too good for them to be fraudulent as a team. It's just Bo Nix needs to improve. At the end of the day, this is on Bo Nix because the run game has been there, and Bo Nix statistically on passes that are thrown beyond the line of scrimmage is bottom 3 in accuracy at like every level of the field. That's not acceptable. I know they don't have a plethora of elite weapons, but Courtland Sutton and Troy Franklin has really had a solid season. Those guys have been pretty good. I mean, Evan Ingram hasn't really done much. Is that on Evan Ingram? Is it on Bo Nix? I don't know, man. But Bo Nix, this team will go where Bo Nix takes him. If he's going to continue playing like he is now, they'll lose in the divisional round. If Bo Nix starts to look like he did last year down the stretch, yeah, absolutely. They're a legitimate Super Bowl threat with that defense. And they also have Sean Payton, who's a Super Bowl winning head coach, which matters a lot. So they have all the pieces. It's can Bo Nix step up and lead this team to where they want to go?
Yeah, no, and right now, I mean, that definitely is giving me a little bit of hesitancy. I would obviously like to see their offense play better, but, you know, I'm still going to believe in the talent and they'll figure it out. But Caleb, thank you for submitting. Mike, who submitted earlier, thank you. Let's move on to San. He has one question, and that is, what are your thoughts on Matthew Stafford for MVP?
Dude, his stats are legit. What has he got? 27 tutties to 2 picks, and
Yeah,
they just steamrolled San Francisco to improve to 7-2. They're running away. You aren't even running away. They're Seattle looks, and San Francisco still 6-4. But yeah, I mean, they're in the driver's seat, and it always
they're both 7-2. Yeah,
it always goes to a quarterback, right? Like Cooper Kupp was the only non-quarterback to really get a vote in like the 2020s, and he went for a triple crown. So yeah, you got to look at the Rams. You got to look at the Pats. It's Stafford. It's Drake May right now as the 2 favorites, which is not what anyone expected before the season. But yeah, you got to give Stafford the nod here that it'd be nice for the old man to get one. You know what I mean? But he's got to throw for 300 and multiple touchdowns like every week for this to come to fruition, I believe. And they got to go like 15-2, 14-3 and be the 1 seed.
I mean, and JT even now is getting his respect. He's actually 6-1 now to be the MVP.
JT would be my pick. He'd be my pick right now.
Yeah, because no quarterback really is sticking out to me because, you know, while May and Stafford's teams are great, like their defenses have been playing at elite levels as well. Where JT, like, yeah, the Colts defense has been good, but like he has just been insane. Like he's probably going to come close, if not break all of LT's like records from his MVP season.
If he breaks LT's rushing touchdown record, I think he might get it. I think he might get it.
Yeah. No, that'd be cool. That'd be cool. But let's move on to Zach Tong. Zach, thank you for submitting as well.
Around the octagon.
Yes, sir. Who do you favor in the AFC North following Week 10? It's Ravens for me.
Baltimore. I mean, that's been my team from the start. I just didn't think they'd start 1-5, but it's definitely Baltimore. They're the best team in the division, and they've closed that gap already.
Yeah, it sounds chalky, but it just I can't see the Steelers not. I just can't see the Steelers getting to 10 wins. Like I feel like they're just screaming 9-8, and the Bengals, like you saw it last year, like they were just like playing catch up so much at the end of the year, and like with how bad that defense is, even getting Burrow back, like I just don't think it's going to be enough. And his other question, he's got 2 more. Where does Jonathan Taylor rank amongst MVP candidates after his monster week? Well, I just told you. I mean, 6-1. Vegas is giving him obviously a ton of respect right now, and rightfully so. I mean, guys, I hope you draft him in your fantasy leagues. I really hope you didn't listen to this podcast.
Hey, I actually, I sent a funny text to my group chat this morning from school, and they're all like, dude, JT's a freaking animal. I can't believe he did that again. I go, yeah, who's that douche that said not to draft him in redraft because of his injuries? And I go, me. I'm the douche.
Yeah, I mean, the dude's got 1,400 yards already this year and 17 touchdowns. So
that's already a season's worth of production, dog.
Yeah,
that's already a season worth of production.
Well, I was already talking to Garrett. He's like, you got to clip that after the season. Like, he's like, you got to clip that as a funny thing. I'm like, you're probably right. That is going to be a hilarious clip.
Man.
But yeah, I would say top 5 for sure right now. I mean, honestly, top 3. You know, I still.
Is the fact that Jones the last 2 weeks
Luke Cross clip that. That's Marty.
Hey, you don't get them all. You don't get them all right. And I was way off on that one. So, but you know what has kind of helped him is the fact that Daniel Jones the last 2 weeks has been turning the ball over like a motherfucker. But it doesn't matter because JT is still going to go for 200 and multiple tutties on your ass.
Yeah. And Zach's final question or statement, he wants to know, why were Bills fans acting like it was their Super Bowl when they beat the Chiefs last week and then they went on to get blown out by the Dolphins on the road?
That's great. It happens every year. The Bills have only lost to Patrick Mahomes the regular season one time. They just never beat him in the playoffs. So this is their annual like mini Super Bowl celebration when they beat him in the regular season. And then they get absolutely shellacked by the Dolphins and Tua.
It is kind of funny when you think about it though, because like, how do you go from doing that to then losing to the Dolphins? I mean, granted, I thought it was going to be very close in this one. That's why I had the Dolphins to cover. They played them very tight on the road on Thursday Night Football a couple weeks back, but I thought the Bills would have handled it in this one. I mean, tough week for survivor pools. I mean, we can get into that a little bit later, but Zach, thank you for submitting. And finally, Jared Crampton, thank you for submitting, Mr. Jared Crampton. He's got some good questions. Keep, trade, cut for redraft leagues.
Oh.
JSN, CeeDee Lamb, Rashee Rice.
Just the 3 top guys. You know,
He's got him. He's got him in our redraft league. He has all 3 actually.
That's actually insane. Kudos to you, Jared. Hopefully you don't trade them all away for garbage and ruin your team like you do in every other league. I'm going to keep JSN. He's on pace to break Calvin Johnson's record. I don't know how you don't keep that guy right now. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm going to start JSN. I'm going to keep.
Wait, yeah, no, it's keep, trade, cup. You were right. Keep, trade, cup.
Oh, yeah, keep, trade. Okay. I'm going to trade Rashee Rice. He is second in points per game since coming back, behind actually only Trey McBride, which is crazy. And then I'm going to cut CeeDee Lamb. I can't believe I'm ever going to say that, but, you know, I'm coming around to George Pickens being an actual threat in that offense and taking away a lot of targets. But still, CeeDee Lamb is top 5 for sure the rest of the way.
I actually am going to go in a different light here. I'm going to keep CeeDee. I'm going to trade JSN. I'm going to cut Rashee. This is a reasoning, man. I am a big believer, and I know we're obviously talking redraft, but I'm a big believer in history, and CeeDee's a guy who's done it for a very long time, and I think will continue to do it down the stretch, especially as his team's trying to make a playoff push with a terrible defense. I am going to trade JSN ultimately. While this team has been playing great, defense is great, I think his upside is going to be limited, as we saw last week, where he got off to a crazy hot start in the first quarter, and then nothing else happened because their defense is so good. But even then, in a game where your team puts up over they did put up over 40 points.
Yeah.
Sam Darnold had like 6 fantasy points. You know what I mean? And he had a couple 3 really bad turnovers. So I know he's much better now, but I believe in Dak a lot more than I believe in Darnold. And finally, the main reason I'm going to cut Rashee is just like when you look at these other rosters, like the Chiefs can get up in any game and have a good defense. So the game script doesn't play into the same equation like I'm saying with Dallas. And ultimately, there are a lot of weapons in that offense where while Rashee, it's clear cut, he is his new number 1 target. I still think there's going to be games where it's the Travis Kelce game. It might be the Xavier Worthy game, or it's a combination of all 3 guys. Plus, you got to think at some point they're going to figure out how to run the ball, and we're going to have to give up a game where, you know, Kareem Hunt gets like 3 or 4 3 touchdowns, Pacheco gets 1. Like, you know, they're so due for a game where it's like the running game just all of a sudden clicks. It can't be this bad all season. So
valid.
Valid.
We could argue that all night. I mean, all 3 are top 5 the rest of the way, in my opinion.
Yeah. So he bought in. He got CeeDee and Rice early, or he drafted JSN. And I think he traded for CeeDee during the injury, and he traded for Rice early with the suspension bump. So that's how he kind of took some bold chances, but it's paying off for him right now.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't know how to draft, so he's got to trade for everything.
Yeah, that's for sure. All right. His final question: build your perfect wide receiver. Speed, route running, hands, trip, other. All right. So let's start it out.
Are we bringing back Allen Lazard?
Yeah. I mean, hey, his blocking was good. All right. So for the build, man, I mean, you probably want a big boy here. You want a
DK Metcalf.
Yeah.
DK Metcalf.
All right, we'll go with DK for the build. The speed, I mean, why not Xavier Worthy, right?
Yeah, he broke the 40 record.
I mean, why not Xavier Worthy? The route running. How about we give a lot of ways
here? A lot of ways.
I'm gonna go. How about St. Brown? I mean,
That's
the dude.
what I was thinking. Fuck.
Yeah, how about St. Brown with his route
Him or
running?
Chase. Tim or Chase.
Yeah.
Or JSN. JSN's a 4-5 guy that cooks everybody. You could argue JSN, too.
For the hands, I mean, there's a couple different routes you can go, but I guess we'll go Darius Slayton, right?
No. I mean, after
dude,
that one-handed catch.
After that one-handed catch where he just fucking like almost dropped it and then all of a sudden got it.
That was crazy.
You know, that was crazy.
If you go JSN with the route running, you could burn Amon-Ra with the hands because that guy doesn't drop the ball.
No, he doesn't drop the ball.
And then the drip? Who's got the drip? That receiver.
Ooh, the drip. The drip is interesting.
CeeDee Lamb's up there for me, I think. CeeDee Lamb's drippy.
Yeah, there's some drippy guys. I'd probably go with maybe Cooper Kupp or who else has got some good drip?
Lad McConkey.
Yeah, Lad McConkey's got some cool drip.
Gunnar Oslewski.
Yeah. Ooh, that's a tough one. I don't know.
Receiver.
So yeah, and then give me Alan Lazard blocking. Hey, what's up, Zach?
Alan Lazard blocking. That's just so throwback, man. That's so throwback.
Yeah, give me Alan Lazard blocking as well, since you said you can add in your own categories, and then consistency. Give me Darius Slayton.
Yes. Pre-2025 Darius Slayton, because he's also got brick hands. All right, man. Thanks for the questions, guys. That was probably the most questions we've had in a while. Greatly appreciate it. It's always the most fun part. Now let's talk about the picks for the week, where we landed up. Reagan 6-7 against the spread, but 9-4 on the money line. I went 7-6 in both. Big G stepping up for me last week. Appreciate you, Big G. 7-6 against the spread, 9-4 on the money line. So you are 4 games up on me on the spread. You're 82-66, Reagan. That's pretty damn good. I'm 78-70.
Yes, sir.
You're 92-55-1 money line. I'm 90-57-1. So 2 back and 4 back. I'm coming for you, man. I'm coming for you. And the Felt 5, I mean,
yeah,
you've been waiting for this all goddamn day, dude.
Everyone
went negative this week. It was a tough week, except for Reagan, who still has his 1 unit pending. If Josh Jacobs goes for 150 rushing receiving at plus 830 tonight, it'll be a Felt 5 week from the heavens, because Reagan's already up 34.47 units with Breece Hall over 39.5 receiving yards. How is that plus 600? I don't know, but he did it on 1 catch, and it was his only catch of the game.
Well, that tells you why. I agree, because Garrett said the same thing, and I was like, dude, have you looked at his numbers? Like,
I looked. They don't throw him the ball.
No, that's why. Because everyone was like, wait, are you serious? I'm like, and then I looked at him like, wait, that really wasn't a good pick by me, because I'm like, prior to that, he had two catches on 3 targets, 2 catches on 3 targets, and 0 catches on 0 targets. And he's actually only hit that line. That was only his 2nd time this year hitting over 40 yards receiving.
And he did it on 1 catch for 41, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Crazy.
So it barely hit. It hit on that 1 touchdown catch. But, like, I'm sure you did look. A lot of people were probably like, that seems off. But then you actually look, and it's like, all right, those odds do make sense, since he's only actually done that once prior.
I know. And then you also hit McBride 100-plus receiving yards at plus 350. So,
and I feel like I should have hit Kittle, too, to be honest. Like, Kittle had 9 catches, so I felt like I was on that money with that one, too.
Yeah. Damn. I'm looking at mine, and I'm just disappointed. Amon-Ra really shit the bed for me. James Cook, fumbleitis. Bijan didn't score, but his backup scored twice, so that's really cool.
That's all right.
Sickening. All right, man. Let's get into the games here a little bit. We already talked about Denver and them a little bit. Do you want to dive into that game, or do you think we could skip that one?
We could talk briefly. I would be a little concerned, with that offense, because we saw how good they were the week prior, and then like Brock Bowers had 1 catch in this game. I understand it was insanely windy and stuff, but I'd be a little bit worried. He was healthy, and like they could not figure out how to get him the ball in this one.
Yeah, it's like Denver's entire game plan was, all right, no more Jacoby Myers. They literally only have 1 threat on offense, and it's Brock Bowers from a pass catcher standpoint. Let's take him away, and they succeeded. Definitely alarming for Bowers. I was pretty big on Bowers in this game, because who the fuck else are you going to throw the ball to? And it didn't work out. Genty averaged 3 yards a carry and scored, fine. This offensive line is garbage for the Raiders. We know that. Geno, of course, threw a pick, no touchdowns. Something that stuck out to me on the Denver side is the way RJ Harvey's played the last couple weeks. For him to only get 4 carries, 9 yards,
Yeah.
and 2 receptions for 9 yards, it was a little weird to me with J.K. Dobbins getting 18 carries. I thought that was going to kind of become more of a split, but it's clear like Dobbins, the between the tackles guy, they want to get Harvey the ball in space. I'm just concerned if you're going to score 10 points and this guy's been a touchdown machine, how is RJ Harvey not more involved this week?
Yeah. No, I really don't know, dude. I really don't know. I don't.
But hey, Denver improves to 8-2. Vegas at 2-7. Denver 5-0 at home. It's tough to win in Denver, man.
I just started a live stream on TikTok, so I'll try to figure out how to do that also.
Nice. All right, I'll get to the next game here. The Chicago Bears get a big win, come from behind win in the fourth quarter over my New York Football Giants. We've already talked about the Giants side of things with Dart leaving with injury. Before that, though, he had over 300 total yards, 2 rushing touchdowns, actually leads all quarterbacks in rush attempts, rush yards, and rush touchdowns since I think it's all season, but he became the starter in week 4. Obviously, Daniels and Lamar hurt, but that's still impressive from the rookie. Did have that fumble, which hurt, but he also got concussed in the play. It's hard to bash a guy when he gets hurt and holding on to the football. For the Bears, you know what, man? Caleb Williams, good for you. Didn't get sacked once in this game, but Thibodeau was there a lot. Burns got there a good amount, and it didn't matter because Caleb was like Houdini back there, avoiding sacks, scrambling, throwing the ball in the run, 8 for 63 and a touchdown on the ground, throwing for 220 and a touchdown through the air. I mean, this is kind of what you've been waiting for. I know he busted his chops a couple weeks ago because his only big performance against Dallas, but now he's followed that up with a couple really good games. So good for Caleb, good for this Bears offense. And I guess all it takes is your dad getting into the media and bitching about your targets because Romo Odunze got the ball in the first play and went 6 for 86 and a touchdown in this one.
Yeah, it is kind of wild that he came out and said that. I don't know. And then for him to acknowledge it too, it's just like, bro, what? I don't know.
It's weird.
Because then DJ Moore had like no stats at all, and it's like you could argue he's their best receiver as well. So I don't know, man. But you know, a much needed win. You know, I'm in on the Bears. You know, this was definitely another one where it wasn't like the best performance, but they're at 6-3 right now. I would love to see Chicago get into the playoffs. Like I believe in Caleb. You see, he's taken a nice year 2 jump. He's just got to continue to play good and, you know, put them over the top because that defense definitely makes me a little nervous.
Yeah, the defense isn't great. You know, I mean, it's going to have to be in the offense and Caleb keep doing this. I mean, it's interesting. DJ Moore, 4 targets, no receptions. Luther Burden, 3 for 51. I think he's starting to outpace Olamide Zaccheaus finally, which is good for this offense because if Burden's your wide receiver 3 with his dynamic playmaking ability, that's huge. And Colston Loveland's really broken out of a shell, 4 for 55 here. That's what you've been waiting for all year too. So it looks like those young weapons around Caleb Williams are starting to come along, which is huge for this offense and this team's outlook. And that includes Kyle Monungai too, who only had a touchdown on 28 yards on 7 carries. Swift was the better back in this one, 13 for 80. But it looks like Ben Johnson has a 2-headed monster that he wanted in Chicago. And he didn't have to take it back early. He got Monungai late.
Yeah, 7th round pick. I mean, I hope you guys took him in your best ball leagues. And it seems that even if, you know, he didn't take the job, which was the ultimate hope when you drafted him in best ball to take over for Swift. I mean, both guys have been utilized and both guys may be effective, but you know, going forward, I view Monungai as a back end flex play, but I think he's a guy you could put in your lineup, especially with his frame and stature. Like you'd imagine he's going to be getting the goal line work, not Swift. Because you saw even in Philly when Swift was there, like the main guy, like he wasn't getting the goal line work as well. So I'd imagine if the Chicago offense continues to put up a lot of points, there's going to be a lot of red zone opportunities.
Absolutely. And my apologies. I skipped the Berlin game, the Germany game in the morning, the Falcons and the Colts. And the Colts.
The Jonathan Taylor game. Jonathan Taylor game.
The
and
Jonathan
Tyler
Taylor
Algier game.
Colts came from behind. Got a win in overtime. 31-25. Now 8-2. Falcons 3-6. We'll get into the Falcons. For the Colts, Daniel Jones threw for 255, a touchdown and a pick. He also fumbled 3 times, only losing 1. Not ideal. Jonathan Taylor also fumbled, but they recovered it, right? So they're fine. But Jonathan Taylor went 32 carries for 244 yards and 3 touchdowns, including an 83-yarder that was ridiculous. Receiving-wise, I mean, Tyler Warren, 8 for 99. Dude is a freak. Alec Pierce stepping up, 4 for 84 and a touchdown. You had Pittman and Downs very quiet in this one, and it didn't matter because of Jonathan Taylor, Tyler Warren, and Alec Pierce going to work. What an impressive performance from the Colts in this comeback win, sitting here at 8-2. For the Falcons, a lot of things to be concerned about. Michael Penix fumbled, lost it. Not good. Michael Penix only threw for 177 and completed less than 50% of his passes, 12 for 28. He did throw a touchdown to Drake London, who was his saving grace in the red zone. But Michael Penix is insanely inaccurate, and you're not seeing the growth that you were expecting to see in year 2. I would be concerned about Michael Penix. Absolutely. Bijan, a pretty good day in the ground, 17 for 84. But, of course, Tyler Algier took both his touchdowns away, busting big dogs before it could even get started in the morning, which was really frustrating. Drake London, 6 for 104 and a touchdown. I just want to remind people, the Falcons traded their first-round pick to the Rams, and now they're sitting here at 3-6. And the Rams at 7-2 have a top 10 pick right now. Sickening. Absolutely sickening. Your thoughts, Reagan?
Yeah, I was trying to figure out this TikTok live, but my thoughts ultimately, in this one, and especially on the Atlanta thing, is it's just like, how many times are they going to play up and down to their competition? I mean, they're playing these really good teams tough. Like they played the Colts, obviously, this past weekend tough. They played the Patriots last weekend really tough. Like those are 2 games they almost won against 2 teams that are 8-2, tied for a top of the AFC. So that tells you like Atlanta is a good team, and they also beat Buffalo. So they've played these AFC teams extremely tough. They just ultimately can't get it done. So I don't know if that's a Raheem Morris thing where they need to fire him or what it is. I mean, I don't love the fact that, and I understand like Tyler Algier is good, and it's like, hey, it's not like a fantasy football thing, but it's crazy to me that like, if you're going to have Algier lined up in the backfield, like get Bijan in the slot. Like I'm not saying Algier doesn't deserve to be on the field because it's pretty clear he's a talented guy as well. But to me, they got to figure out more ways to get both guys involved at the same time and have them both out there because still, Bijan's probably your number 2 wide receiver at this point.
Absolutely, he is. Yeah. I mean, he's number 2 in targets on that team. And I know Kyle Pitts has had a pretty good season. I mean, compared to what we've seen the last couple of years. But Bijan only having 2 catches for 4 yards is a really tough look for this offense. And, like, I don't know, man, when James Pierce Jr. got the strip sack and Jalen Walker recovered it, I was like, fuck yeah. Like, that's what you've been waiting for. You know what I mean? Like, fuck yeah. You're 2 young guys making a play like that, but it didn't matter. You still couldn't stop the run in Jonathan Taylor despite that, and Jesse Bates with an INT. So really disappointing for Atlanta. They're not going to make the playoffs, and they trade a first-round pick to get James Pierce. So that was always a very ballsy move. And it's I don't know, man. We could see a regime change again in Atlanta after this season, potentially. Head coach.
Yeah, wouldn't that be something if the Rams, go deep in the playoffs and then they still got a top 10 pick? Because right now that Atlanta pick very well could be a top 10 pick. I mean, they're
sitting at 9 right now. There's a lot of teams that are much worse than them. I'd probably think it'll land in the low teens, but we'll see, dude.
Yeah.
It's just great. What a play by Les Snead. The guy who said fuck them picks, and he's sitting there. Hey, maybe he trades it in the offseason for a star. I don't know, but the Rams are in a good position, that's for sure.
Yeah.
All right, moving on here. The Dolphins just whoop up on their divisional rival, the Buffalo Bills, 30-13 to improve to 3-7. Buffalo now 6-3. Tua, despite throwing 2 INTs, still threw 2 touchdowns and 173. Jalen Waddle caught one of those. So did Malik Washington, who also, I believe, no, he didn't return one. I thought he returned one.
No. A-Chain had a couple touchdowns in this one. I know that for a fact.
Yeah, he went 22 for 174 and 2 touchdowns along a 59. So, wow, when they finally can create some running room, you see what A-Chain can do. Could score from anywhere. And, that was all it took because the Miami defense balled out. I was really impressed, and that's despite trading Jalen Phillips last week. But they still kept some dudes around, and they really came to play. The Josh Allen fumble, the James Cook fumble, their 2 stars on offense just really killed them and killed their momentum. Josh Allen threw for 300 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick. It wasn't enough. They couldn't get in the end zone. James Cook bottled up for the most part. I mean, at least Keon Coleman got in the end zone, but he's just not consistent enough. I don't know, man. The Bills just don't have enough talent around Allen to make up for those mistakes, but I'm a little bit more concerned about Buffalo's defense here, Reagan.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something to be concerned about, dude. I mean, how could you not be to get kind of blanked like that? I mean, honestly, I'd be concerned about both ends, but a little bit more on what was I going to say? A little bit more on the defensive side of things, because you let a really bad Miami Dolphins defense kind of work you. But not only that, I mean, this is a team that's kind of fully given up at this point. So ultimately, I would be worried if I'm that defense, because Tua has not looked good the majority of this season, and you made him look, dare I say, elite. And even A-Chain, as a runner, he hasn't looked great. He's been great as a receiver. So, you really let Dolphins team lacking any confidence and really come out and kick in the ass. So if I'm other teams in the AFC, I'm licking my chops, but also Buffalo's looking like they're going to be a wild card team. I don't see how they catch New England. They're going to need some help, and there's not a lot of opportunities left. I mean, granted, it helps that they have one game against them, so that you can gain some ground there. But if you lose that somehow, you're going to be playing in the wild card game.
Yeah, dude, who would have thought Buffalo in the wild card? You kind of just chalk them up to win the division every year, but not this year, man. Not this year. They beat Kansas City and then they get their ass kicked by Miami any given Sunday. But
yeah,
not good. Buffalo's been struggling with their divisional opponents, so that's a problem. All right, moving on here. Yeah. The Ravens get back in the win column for their third straight W, improving to 4-5 with a 27-19 win over the Vikings and JJ McCarthy, who dropped to 4-5. And I kind of felt like the Ravens were in control for a lot of this game. They were down, and they kept making field goal after field goal after field goal. And then once they kind of got in the end zone, it felt like the game was over. I mean, JJ McCarthy with 2 really bad interceptions, just chucking it deep. I understand giving Jefferson a chance, but that's not the way you do it over the middle field like that. Some mistakes that cost him. Still threw for 248 and a touchdown. The running game was not awesome. It's the Aaron Jones show. He did score 9 for 47. Mason's kind of become a bit of an afterthought, but it was just bad. I mean, Jalen Naylor 5 for 124 and a touchdown. Good for him. Go Green. Go Sparty. But Justin Jefferson, if he's going 4 for 37, I have a hard time thinking the Vikings won that football game. And that's what happened. And Jordan Addison went 3 for 35. Not ideal. On the Ravens side, Derrick Henry kind of ran the ball down their throats for 75. Lamar, efficient, threw a touchdown, only got sacked once, spread the ball around. Nothing crazy, man. Nothing crazy. They just took care of the football. And, I mean, they did fumble 3 times, but they recovered all of them. So I guess somewhat took care of the football. But that's all they needed. Their defense really showed up, and they've shown a lot of improvement since early in the season.
Yeah, and I mean that's ultimately what you wanted to see. I mean, I was impressed for the most part. I mean, they just keep winning games now that Lamar's healthy and back. I mean, you made JJ McCarthy. You showed out, made him struggle a lot here. Minnesota's a team that while their defense is good, I think their offense is going to ultimately hold them back. And, for Vikings, you got to be patient. I mean, JJ McCarthy still only played 5 games now. It's this very small sample size. No, that was 4 games in his career. So it's tough when you have a Super Bowl caliber defense, but you got a guy that's only started 4 games at your starting quarterback. So, that's always going to hold them back. Like you said, Naylor going off. I didn't have that on my bingo card for him to go over 100 yards. And I guess at this point, Jordan Mason, just to, you briefly talked about Aaron Jones, but I guess Jordan Mason, should be on your bench. Must roster, because if Jones misses time again, which is always possible with him and his hamstrings, must roster. But yeah, man, I mean, the Ravens got a decently easy schedule coming up as well. I mean, you get the Browns and the Jets the next 2 weeks. So going into that Thanksgiving night game where you would imagine at that point Joe Burrow will be back, they'll be 6-5, in a crucial spot there. Because if Joe Burrow plays in that game, that's a game that a couple weeks ago we were like, damn, we may have no Lamar or Burrow. What the hell? And now we're like, all right.
Yeah, give me Lamar Burrow on Thanksgiving, man. That's all I want. I don't even need a turkey. Just give me that.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of Survivor, I know we talked about it. It was a tough week for everybody. I'm thinking of going Baltimore over Cleveland next week. Is that crazy with the divisional matchup there? I just think Baltimore's rolling.
I already did that in one. Because me and Garrett were on the pod, and I was in 2 Survivors. One, I took the Lions, which obviously killed it. The other one, I had the Seahawks over the Cardinals, but we got talking about the match, and we are like, well, Seattle's been so hot. Like, maybe they're due. Like, Cardinals played them tough-ish last time. Like, you got to think they come out better. So I switched to the Panthers and got bounced.
Oh.
That's why you always trust your gut, and also don't listen to Garrett. Terrible. Maybe that was my mistake too, listening to Garrett, letting him and talk me into it.
Oh man,
that's
tough.
But it's all right.
Yeah, I had Denver, so we survived by the skin of our teeth.
I know I wanted to take Denver, but I used them in both. I was hoping Denver got bounced because I'm in. The one survivor I'm in is started out with like 500 people, and it's now down to 30. So that one could be a juicy payout. So at least I'm in that one, but I did get bounced out of Laporte's, unfortunately. But that's all right.
I'm still in Laporte's. I think we lost week 2, and we're just been still alive, but I'm barely breathing.
I was going to say the buybacks are done in that one.
Yeah, it's fine. We're still alive. I'm going with the Ravens.
Staying alive.
Speaking of those Browns, I mean, when you lose to the Jets after a fire sale, I think I can go against you. And the Browns dropped to 2-7 with a 27-20 loss to the Jets, who improved to 2-7. The way the Jets got it done, I mean, out of a Hollywood movie, right, Reagan?
Yeah.
You got your boy Isaiah Williams returning a punt and Keenan Allen returning a kick. And you look at it, you're like, wait, how in the world the Jets score 27 points? Fields went 6 of 11 for 54 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. And if you look at his spray chart for his pass attempts, oh my God, is it hideous? But hey, Breece Hall scored from 42 yards out, cashing your felt 5-5 unit. And that was all they needed on offense because the special teams really showed up. For the Brownies, Gabriel was all right, $167, 2 touchdowns. He got sacked 6 times. It's a problem.
Yeah, Will McDonald 4 times.
Yeah, Will McDonald. What a game. I know they were getting some calls on McDonald. I think it's a smart move by the Jets to hold on to him. He's still a really young player that's ascending. So, yeah, good thing they held on to him. For the Browns, I mean, Judkins 22 for 75. I mean, okay, not very efficient, not ideal. Judy scored, had 78. Njoku scored, but I don't know, man. This Browns offense, no pun intended, is stuck in mud. And, I mean, Stefanski's on the hot seat here. I've seen it floated around if they fire him that maybe he goes and becomes Giants coach. But I know a lot of Browns fans are pretty bummed out with Stefanski and the creativity of the offense with Dylan Gabriel.
Well, it's also, and not to change it, but a what the fuck stat, credit to them. I love that account. Since 1950, NFL teams have been 225-0 when having 0 turnovers and holding their opponent to 175 yards or fewer. Browns now become the first team to lose while doing that. That shows you how unlucky they were. Wow. But also, dude, the Jets special teams unit has been insane. Like, our punters ranked first in PFF. Our kicker has made every field goal he's attempted this year. Granted, it hasn't been a ton because the offense is terrible. And obviously, our kick returner and punt returner have both scored a touchdown. And I remember in London, our kick returner had one like to the 20 in Gongwu. So our special team unit has been insane. It just sucks because it doesn't matter. It does not matter at all. But
yeah, when the offense is that bad.
But going back to the Browns, like you were saying, like, it is unfortunate because I still believe in the talent of Dylan Gabriel. Like, to me, he hasn't been bad. It's just like they haven't really drawn up a ton for him. And like, he's got 7 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. So like, you got to give him credit in that sense on that as well. Like, he has been taking care of the ball. I just think ultimately for such a smart coach, for him to not really scheme up some more stuff for him, he's not helping him out. And, for the crowd that's saying, go to Shedeur, I don't see anything changing if this is what they're calling for Gabriel. Like, I'd imagine it'll be a very, like, vanilla type play calling going forward. But I guess the only upside with Shedeur is maybe he'll take some more risks because Gabriel, to me, hasn't taken a ton of risks in the few games I've seen him. Even in that Steelers game where they were trailing all game, like, he was just throwing it, like, way. It seemed like every time just check down. So we'll see. I mean,
they don't throw the ball downfield.
He started 6 games so far, so it's not a big sample size, but you'd like to see more from him. I mean, the only good thing is, and if he is in your fantasy leagues, I just picked him up. He had by far his best fantasy game, Jerry Jeudy, a guy who hadn't been fully involved, but I had a feeling, he blew up in the second half of last year, and I had a feeling like going into the bye week after what he did last year, like, who's the one guy you're talking to your rookie quarterback that we got to figure out how to get him the ball more? Of course, it's Jerry Jeudy, the guy that was a Pro Bowler last year, who had an insane season. So I would say if he's on your waivers because of how bad he's been, he's a must pick up right now because I think there's going to be better games ahead for him as well.
And I will say that touchdown pass from Gabriel to Judy, like he actually pushed the ball downfield. Beautiful throw. And Judy made a great play on it, right? But that's the thing is they're not really pushing the ball downfield. I don't know if Stefanski's trying to protect Gabriel or if he just doesn't have the arm strength to do it. But, yeah, I mean, to your point, Judy is got to be that guy that kind of emerges for this Browns offense to do anything because you can't just be giving the ball to Quinshon Judkins 25 times. Teams know you're going to do that. No. They're going to stack the box and try to make you beat them in another way. All right, for the biggest game in the 1 o'clock slate, the Pats survive on the road at Tampa Bay, 8-2, including 5-0 on the road. Crazy. Tampa Bay 6-3. You know, not a bad loss for Tampa Bay. New England is just, I think they've proven themselves with their wins against Buffalo and now Tampa Bay that they're a legit team, man, and you got to pay attention to them. I will say this Tampa Bay defense actually did some good things against Drake May. He was only 16-31. That's a tad over 50% for those of you that, you know, don't major in math. He threw for 270, 2 touchdowns and a pick. It was really Travion, man. 14 for 147 and 2 touchdowns that kind of took control and won this game for New England.
Which is crazy. I know it was 2 runs, but for Tampa Bay, historically being like, you know, at least under the Todd Bowles era, like probably the best team against the run. Like, you don't see them get gashed like that very often.
You really don't, dude. And I thought it would have to be with Drake May's arm for them to win this game. I actually had Tampa Bay, so, you know, shame on me. Matt Collins, 6 for 106. Kyle Williams also had 1 catch, but it was a 72-yarder, showing off his speed.
Maybe if you took him late in best ball, you got to use him for 1 week.
Yeah, maybe, because he hasn't done shit.
Because, I mean, that's almost 14 fantasy points, so there's a good chance he would have got utilized in your format.
No, absolutely. And Stephon Diggs also got in the end zone, 5 for 46. So that's good to see for Stephon Diggs fantasy holders. But it was the big plays on offense. Those 3 big plays that really won him this game because you look at it, Baker outplayed Drake May, 28 for 43, 273, 3 touchdowns, finding Ibuka, and then finding Tez Johnson twice. Hope you listen to us when we said pick up Tez Johnson because he's putting together a good, solid stretch of games. He's a touchdown machine working in the red zone. So,
and also it sounds like Godwin's going to not be back till like early to mid-December, which is great for NFL, but for fantasy football, which a lot of you I'm sure care about, like that means he's probably going to be out or not back till like the fantasy playoffs. So Tez Johnson seems like he's slated to be the number 2 going forward, but really more the number 3 because Otton really is the number 2 target right now.
He had 9 for 82.
You could honestly say he's the number 1 target. It's just Ibuka's targets are way more valuable because they're downfield, where Otton's getting a lot of the time a higher amount of targets, but there are a lot of checkdowns that don't ultimately lead to a lot of big plays because he's really become the safety blanket for Baker. And that was I was so surprised that it took him this long to get involved because last year we saw this with Otton down the stretch as well. So it's good to see that. And he's a guy that, like, if he's in your fantasy leagues, you probably should pick up and start as well.
Yeah, you've been beating the Otton drum for a while now.
So, but yeah, and also it sounds like Bucky Irving also, like, they don't know when he'll be back. So,
killing me in fantasy, dude.
Yeah,
killing
me. if you drafted him, you can't trade him at this point. You just gotta hope he comes back in like week 14, so he gets that limited week out of the way. So by week 15, he's like fully back. But the good thing is White has looked terrible and Tucker has looked better, but neither has looked great that you actually have to worry about them having a significant snap share when he is back.
Yeah.
If he comes back, though, I don't know. I mean, like, I don't even know if he'll be back. Maybe he just
like no timetable right now.
So that's not ideal. I mean, it's kind of like Joe Mixon with the Texans. It's very in the dark.
I mean, because Bucky's dealing with a foot and a shoulder, so that's what complicates things.
Well,
you wouldn't know where either one is.
The shoulder's fine now. It's not why. I guess it's the foot that's hurting him because it sounds like it sounds like his shoulder's fine. It's just the foot right now is what's keeping him out, which is worse. I think.
Definitely worse. Definitely worse. Yeah. All right, man. We got to talk about this one. I'm sorry for your Panthers. I'm sorry you got knocked out of Survivor, but they lost 17-7 to Tyler Shough and the Saints. I mean, right when it was looking good for Panthers, they were. I see fans on Twitter like, I can't believe this is my life. We're good again. We're in the playoff picture, and then you lose one at home to a divisional opponent that frankly, you should have beaten. Bryce Young, what the fuck's going on with this passing attack for Carolina the past 2 weeks? It's been really ugly. He only threw for 124, had a pick. If it's not Rico Dowdle going nuts, this offense is absolutely concerning to me. And he had 18 for 53 and a touchdown in this one, so they've kind of bottled him up. Big thing, though, is Chuba Hubbard only got 3 carries. So definitely Rico, RB1 all the way here. Tet, 5 for 60, but outside of Tet, I mean, I look around and I know they're trying to address it with taking Tet and Xavier Legette in the first round, but they need more weapons so bad, dude, because this passing attack is broken. And then for the Saints, I mean, it's about who you expected would take over for this team. Olave, 5 for 104 and a touchdown. Juwan Johnson, 4 for 92 and a touchdown. Kamara actually had a pretty good day in the ground, 22 for 83, and he had 3 receptions for 32. So Kamara over 100 yards. Good to see if you have him in fantasy. Still, no touchdowns, so not a phenomenal week, but at least it's a step in the right direction.
Sell high. That's what I would say. Sell high. Get rid of him now, because I think that's his best performance this year. While I ultimately was impressed with Shough, like, I don't think there's going to be a lot of matchups that are going to bode well for Kamara down the stretch. So try to sell high and be like, see, it's the Shough effect. Sell high on Kamara, or this is like his peak value right now. Try to trade him before your deadline. Package him with someone else for an upgrade. See if you can go get a better running back. Sell high.
I would agree. I got nothing more to add on the Saints.
He's terrible, bro. Sell high.
He is. He is ass, but who knows? On Christmas, maybe he'll go for 5 tutties again, and you're like, fuck. Oh, God. That's why you drafted him. He's. All right. Whatever. Moving on here. We touched on this a little bit earlier. My most disappointing performance. The Jacksonville Jaguars blowing this game to the Texans. Jags now 5-4. Houston now 4-5. And to allow that many unanswered points in the fourth quarter to blow this game, I mean, Trevor Lawrence, what the fuck is wrong with you? 13 of 23 for 158, a touchdown and a pick. He got sacked 5 times. I get it. This Houston defense is legit. Still hung 29 points, and you also didn't have Brian Thomas or Travis Hunter. But you did trade for Jacoby Myers, so he's kind of supposed to fill that gap. It was Parker Washington who scored.
Limited, but yeah.
And then ETN scored on the ground. Trevor Lawrence fumbled twice, letting one go. Also threw a pick. The guy's a turnover machine. He can't elevate the players around him.
Right?
It's concerning, brother. I don't know. I wouldn't be shocked if he was gone after this season. I think he probably gets one more with Cohen, and then they use him as a scapegoat. I mean, they still have a winning record, right? But Trevor Lawrence it's time to hang it up. He's never going to live up to that status of not even generational, but being at least not in Jacksonville. Top 10 quarterback, at least. I don't get it, dude. It's a problem, but
I think he could leave, and I think he could be a case of just getting drafted to a bad franchise and needing a fresh start elsewhere where he can rejuvenate his career. Because we've seen it time and time again recently. I mean, fucking Baker Mayfield was a first-round pick, and look what he's doing right now.
He was number 1 overall.
I mean, number 1 overall is what I meant to say.
Yeah.
But you see what he's doing right now, and Trevor Lawrence has been, better in Jacksonville. So I think he could be another guy that just needs a fresh start somewhere else to rejuvenate himself.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked. I just don't know where that could be. New Orleans, Vegas, the Jets. I saw it float around today, actually. If the Jets offer 2 first-round picks, the Jaguars would take it right now. I don't know if you want to do that for the Jets, though.
No. I'm good with that draft class. We've had 2 cracks at it. The third. I mean, the only one I would consider is Mac Jones, because you wouldn't have to give up anything to get him and just be like, all right, you know what? We're fully bought into the 2027 draft. Like, let's just go out there and draft 2 more guys and let Mac Jones do his thing and sling it around there.
Be your bridge. I think that's what makes sense most of the Jets.
That would be the only. Yeah, I don't want them drafting a quarterback.
For the Texans side, got to tip the cap to Davis Mills, man. A rocky start, but if you stage that fourth quarter comeback, I mean, that's just insanely impressive. 292, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Woody Marks scored. Davis Mills also scored on the ground. Good. Love to see that. Nico Collins, 7 for 136. That's why you drafted him in the first or second round.
The only thing that's concerning, just
15 targets. 15 targets.
And that's concerning to me that his 2 games with Davis Mills have been his 2 highest targeted games. That's a little
Why is Stroud
concerning.
not doing that?
I don't know, but I may try to sell high on Nico Collins as well. Be like, listen, man, he's been balling out the past 2 weeks. Like, the breakout's coming. I might sell high because Davis Mills obviously is not going to keep the job, but he kind of has looked better than Stroud, at least for fantasy. So another guy that I might try to move is Nico Collins.
Not a bad call, man. Not a bad call. But Houston, still alive, but they're barely breathing at 4-5.
Yeah.
What a comeback win. Like I said earlier, I wouldn't be shocked if the Jacksonville season just spirals now and they go on a fat losing streak. I don't know. I mean, Brian Thomas might be back next week. You're hoping he is, but definitely concerns over there in Jacksonville. All right. We don't got to spend a ton of time on this next one because, frankly, it was an absolute ass beating, and we've already talked about Sam Darnold and Jackson Smith and Jigba. But the Seahawks win 44-22. I mean, if you started their defense this week like I did in 2 leagues, they went to absolute work here. I mean, just forcing turnovers. It was just a really, really impressive performance. Jacoby Brissett with 2 fumbles in this one that really changed the tide of the game here. Darnold only had to throw the ball 12 times. That's how much of an ass beating it was. Did throw a touchdown to JSN, who went 5 for 93.
3 turnovers. That was crazy.
I know.
That's just what I was saying before.
And 2 fumbles. And 2 fumbles lost.
Like, to put up 44 points in your quarterback. If you told me, all right, this team put up 44 points, you're guessing like, all right, that quarterback's got 20 points. Yeah. He had like 6 fantasy points.
It's nuts. I mean, when you have Kenneth Walker, 14 for 67, Zach Charbonnet, 14 for 83 and a touchdown, and then George Halani, of course. Kenneth Walker doesn't score touchdowns. It gets to George Halani to punch it in before Kenneth Walker. So,
yeah,
I mean,
he had
crazy.
More fantasy points than Kenneth Walker.
I actually saw a tweet today. It was like, if you combine Charbonnet and Walker, it'd be RB4 on the season behind, like, JT, CMC, the freaks. But it's like one gets a lot of yards and the other gets all the tutties. So it doesn't work out like that. For Arizona, Trey McBride is a really good player. Other than that, there's nothing to write home about this offense right now. McBride, 9 for 127, a touchdown. Marv, 3 for 33. Did score in garbage time.
For Marv is crazy.
Did score in garbage time. 12 targets, 3 receptions is concerning, for sure.
I mean, granted, you knew it was going to be a tough matchup. Like, Seattle's secondary is good. That's why I was so high on Trey McBride for my Felt 5, because I knew, Seattle's corners are so good that they were going to they were probably going to take out the whole entire receiver core of the Cardinals. And I figured if they were going to move the ball, it was going to be through McBride. And that's going to be the case pretty much every week for the Cardinals when you have, debatable the best tight end in football, who I still think is the best tight end in football. I know, people will say Bowers, and maybe people even say Tyler Warren at this point through that, or you could say George Kittle, but McBride's my guy.
Yeah, McBride's up there, so I just traded for him. He's a freak of nature.
Smart.
All right. The Rams take care of the Niners, 42-26, improved to 7-2. The Niners 6-4. Mac Jones going for 319, 3 tutties and a pick. Wasn't enough. Brian Robinson got in the end zone. George Kittle got in the end zone. Jawan Jennings got in the end zone. But that Niners defense, without their horses, really struggled in this one. Got to tip the cap to Matthew Stafford and that passing attack. And Kyren Williams, man. Stafford, 284 touchdowns, only got sacked 1 time. That Rams offensive line, it's crazy how quickly they retooled that. And Kyren Williams, 14 for 73, 2 touchdowns. And then it was just the boys going to work. Devontae, Puka, Colby Parkinson, all really solid games, all getting in the end zone. And then Davis Allen scored 2. For me, it's tough to bash the Niners with no Brock Purdy. Still missing a lot of guys out wide, and Ayuk and Pearsall. But I think coming away from this, it's more of a statement win for the Rams, in my opinion. I'm not bashing the Niners. I still think they're a playoff team, and they're dangerous as hell in January. But the Rams just kind of look like the cream of the crop in the NFC right now.
Yeah, I mean, that division's going to be such a tight race, but, it just seems like the Rams just can beat you in so many different ways, especially when you how the hell are you supposed to guard Puka and Devontae Adams, and you add in these tight ends, that you still have to worry about that seemingly get open, and then it's like, oh yeah, we can still run the ball down your throat with Kyren. It's just such a tough team to stop. And then defensively, they got all these young guys on that front that are just so physical and so good. I mean, You see Byron Young right now has got 9 sacks on the lead, like really leading that defense. But, they just got some freaking guys on that defensive line. It's a tough front to go against. So, if Stafford keeps playing like this, you would think they have a very good chance to win that division. Granted, it's going to be tough because the Niners are still 6-4 and Seattle's at 7-3, tied with them. Or I'm sorry, 7-2. They're both 7-2.
Yeah.
Because they both at the bye. So
crazy, dude. I mean, that front, for a guy who's fucked them picks and it's a meme and Les Snead, getting Jared Verse, Braden Fisk, Kobe Turner. You mentioned Byron Young. He just hit on everyone. Everyone he hit on that D-line to retool it after Aaron Donald left. The Rams are a complete team. And you mentioned it with Javonte. It's like he doesn't even need to go over 100 yards on this team. He is like, I think he leads the league in red zone touchdowns right now. I think he's got 8 or something like that. Stafford and him just have a connection when they get there where he's going to go back shoulder and Devontae's going to come down with it. Doesn't even need to go for over 100 yards anymore because Puka Nacua is going to do that like almost automatically. So, although he didn't this week, but he didn't need to.
Definitely didn't need to.
All right, moving on here. The Lions took care of the Commanders 44-22. Kind of saw this one coming, in my opinion, with Marcus Mariota. It was an 8-point spread, but Jared Goff was flawless, 323 touchdowns. Jahmyr Gibbs, what a guy, 15, 142, 2 touchdowns on the ground, also added 30 yards and a touchdown through the air. So I've seen a couple teams that had Jonathan Taylor and Jahmyr Gibbs as their running backs, and holy shit, what a duo this week, man. And then, of course, Amon-Ra got in the end zone, as he usually does. Jameson Williams, 6 for 119 and a touchdown. I guess all it takes is complaining about your targets and getting your offensive coordinator demoted from play calling duties. Dan Campbell gets in there and says, let me show you how to call some plays and get our guys involved. And Jameson Williams really had a good game. What I really liked about JMO was that they got him the ball in space and running a lot of drag routes. Like that's what he did last year. And that's when he went for over 1,000 yards. If you're just going to have him run streaks the whole game, he's not going to be as involved because you have other guys that are going to get open underneath. But getting JMO open underneath with his speed clearly works really well for this offense, clearly keeps him happy. And that's what got him over 1,000 yards last year. So that was good to see. I got JMO in a league and he's been on my bench all season, but maybe I'd be inclined to start him next week after that performance. For the Commanders, they were really hurt. Debo scored. Sinnott scored. The run game's disgusting. Bill has not taken over like we anticipated.
No, he lost. Yeah, he's losing touches now.
He's losing touches. Chris Rodriguez getting involved. Jeremy McNichols. I'm glad that I traded Bill when I did. Thank you, Luke.
Me too.
But yeah, really nothing to write home about with this Commanders offense. Treylon Burks, their leading receiver. I guess picking him up, former first-round pick of the Titans.
Dynasty could be worth it.
Not even. He's just cheeks.
No,
I just
Dynasty, bro.
I don't even know if it's worth it in Dynasty, man.
I will say, Bill still had the 11 carries, dude. He's been so inefficient. It doesn't even feel like he's averaging 4.5 a carry because he's been so bad as of recent.
I know.
His last 4 games, 13 of 33, 9 of 25, 12 of 38, 11 of 30. Granted, it's been some good defenses, but I don't know. I wouldn't feel overly excited. I don't even know if you could really sell high on him at this point. Yeah, it's nice. He still had like 50% of the running back carries, but didn't go over well for him. So I don't know. I don't know. Oh, we got someone in here. We got a quick question. All right, from Benzo Foe. Do I trade Jefferson for T-Mac and Wan'Dale Robinson?
No.
Interesting.
I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. Now with no Dart for maybe a week, could be 2, could be 3. I don't know. I don't trust Russell Wilson. I know Wan'Dale's been actually working really well on the slot. I believe he's a top 24 fantasy receiver on the year. I think I saw wide receiver 18. And T-Mac, love T-Mac, but you got to be concerned with what you've seen from Bryce Young the past 2 weeks. I know Jefferson only has like 1 touchdown this year, and he's got to work through his things with McCarthy. But I personally would not do that. Certainly appreciate the question, though. First time going live. Benzo Foe. Let's rock.
I don't know. I would consider it. Because Wan'Dale has been really good. And I think I'm assuming this is redraft because I don't think you obviously probably
got to be redraft, yeah.
Tet's still like pretty good for Dynasty, but I don't know, man. I'd consider it. I'd consider it because Tet's basically been just as good, if not better, than Jefferson straight up. And then you throw Wandell in there as well. I mean, Tet and Jefferson have like essentially the same stats. Jefferson's got one more touchdown. The yards are basically the same and a couple more catches, but you get Wandell as well. I don't know, man. I think you could maybe even get a little bit more just off of Jefferson's name. So see, really do some shopping, but we'll see. He said that's what I'm thinking. I mean, just really try to see, but I wouldn't be opposed to trading Jefferson because he's definitely worrying me a lot this year because I've gotten a couple offers for him in some different leagues, but I don't think he's ever going to return on the value of where you took him.
Now that we're talking about Jefferson, can I ask you about a trade that I was offered today from Walmart?
Sure.
Dynasty. I got offered Jefferson and Stafford, and this is just a framework. This is not the full offer, but Jefferson and Stafford for Herbert and Breece Hall. And I said no.
I would have probably said yeah.
Superflex?
Oh, I didn't know it was Superflex.
Superflex. So my quarterbacks are Herbert, Dart, Kyler Murray, Bryce Young. I'm concerned about that depth.
Yeah, I still think I would have done that because you got to think Breece has probably got like 3 years of relevancy, and then it's basically Jefferson. Would you do Jefferson for Herbert straight up?
That's tough, man. It's because of Superflex. It skews everything, and Herbert's QB3 right now. He's balling.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'd probably say, no, I still think I would do it.
Hey,
but...
the fact we're back and forth means it's a pretty fair deal. So
Yeah.
All right, man, let's move on. Last game on the docket. Speaking of those Chargers, Sunday Night Football, 25-10 win over the Steelers. They improved to 7-3. Steelers 5-4, and they're sliding. And boy, are they sliding. Aaron Rodgers got to pick up his play. 16 for 31, $161, a touchdown, 2 picks, and of course that viral picture going around of him getting cracked yesterday. The old man still slinging it, but that looked like it hurt. I mean, receiving-wise, they didn't do shit. Roman Wilson scored, leading receiver, tied with Metcalf at 35. Jalen Warren, 14 for 70. But this Chargers defense and Jesse Minter, the defensive coordinator, who's probably going to get a head coaching job this offseason, really just shut down the Steelers' offense. Herbert was good. Didn't have to be Superman today. 220 and a touchdown. Kamani Vidal, 25 for 95 and a touchdown. He's really stepped up. And, I mean, Jarrett Patterson got 1 carry behind him. So clearly Vidal has earned the coach's trust, at least until Hampton comes back. And then receiving-wise, it was Ladd. Over 100 yards, a touchdown. It's actually been awesome since week 5 and beyond. It's kind of corresponds to when they suffered a lot of injuries in the offensive line. And, good for Ladd, good for Herbert, good for the Chargers, 7-3. Still in the thick of things for the West. And they look certainly like a playoff team here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little worried. Actually, I'm kind of a lot worried about the Steelers right now, especially that offense, man. I mean, guys like DK Metcalf have really been, burning you these past couple weeks. I mean, I know DK's, with him, it's like you just need one big play to score, but he's definitely not been what I had hoped with Rodgers, and the fact that, there's really no competition for targets. I mean, Jalen Warren is always going to be nice because of the pure targets and the touchdown upside, but I mean, DK over his past 4 weeks, has 5 or fewer catches in the past 4 weeks. I mean, he had 3 for 50, 5 for 55 and a touchdown, which is fine. But then the past 2, which are really concerning, 2 for 6 and 3 for 35. So very, very concerning there for fantasy, unfortunately.
Now, do you think it's where teams are like, that's the only guy in this offense that could beat us, like seriously, so let's take him out of the game? Or do you think him and Rodgers are just not on the same page? Because it is absolutely concerning with DK. It's absolutely concerning.
I think it's a little bit of both. I lean more of, the first part of it. I mean, it's nice to see Roman Wilson getting more involved, but do we really think he could ever become the number 2?
No.
Or a true number 2? No. They got to figure out ways to utilize the tight ends more. I mean, you obviously Freiermuth's the beast. We saw what he's done in a couple games with Rodgers. And you go out and trade for Jonnu Smith. So they got to come up with more ways to get both those guys on the field because they're obviously very skilled guys. And then on the Chargers side, I mean, good game from Herbert. Obviously, like you said, Vidal, ton of volume in this one, looked great. We talked about Keenan Allen earlier, but, definitely a little worried on that. And I hope Gaston's good to go because he's been great, in a few games he's played.
The MRI, it's a quad bruise. So it's just the knee hitting his quad. No structural damage to the knee. So he's day to day. Hopefully the soreness goes away and he can go next weekend because he's been awesome and obviously a huge part of this offense.
Definitely.
All right, Felt fans, that wraps up the first ever live episode of Around the Felt. For those of you that popped in here, submitted questions, chatted up with us, we greatly appreciate you. We'll be back on Wednesday if you want to hop back in. For those of you listening, it's Tuesday. Hey, we're live Wednesday night now. So feel free to hop in. We appreciate you. Drop a like, drop a comment, drop a sub. We'll be back later this week on Around the Felt Sports.